Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ESL One Cologne 2015, the major that everyone's been waiting for. I am here kicking off the day with three excellent gentlemen. It is going to be Henry G, Fiflaren, and Semler. Henry, people have been talking about this major coming forward for such a long time now, just so much excitement built around it. What's your take on it?
I think this is an amazing time for CSGO. It's so undefined who's the best team in the world right now. Finally, we have a tournament that's going to separate the teams. So many upcoming talent as well. There's so many new lineups coming into it, like the French Revolution, for example. We're going to see those guys finally perform on the big stage. I can't wait. It's going to be such an amazing tournament.
Fiflaren, are you excited about anything specific, or do you just agree overall this is looking to be one of the best majors ever?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we have so many good teams here competing, and it's been so much hype coming into the tournament itself. And we have obviously a bunch of teams that's struggling. We have a bunch of up-and-coming teams as well. So overall, I'm very excited.
And Semler, what about you? Can't leave you out from this discussion, of course. What are you looking forward to this weekend?
I'm looking forward to the high chance of there being a back-to-back champion.
That is true. Yeah,
That's
I mean, there's a lot there's a lot to talk about going forward. Of course, thank you so much to our sponsors who are making this weekend possible. We've got Asus, Intel, PaySafeCard, HyperX, theScore, eSports, and NVIDIA helping us out, making sure that ESL One Cologne is an awesome event, and it's already looking to be. Now, we are going to be at the Lanxess Arena for the last 2 days during the bracket stage, but we kick off the group stage here at the MMC Studios, and we've got our very own Sean Charles leading us on a little bit of a tour.
Now, an event like ESL One is no joke, and to put on a main course in the Lanxess Arena, that's a big deal. But in the days leading up to that feast of Counter-Strike, we're here at the MMC Studios, home to a lot of Germany's biggest TV shows, but now is being taken over by Counter-Strike. Normally, thousands of TV shows are being produced in the tens of studios behind us. Today, there's Counter-Strike. Let's go take a look. An unmissable part of any production is, of course, the control room. Around me is where they sit. They bring you the action, all the shots, and everything you see on screen. They are truly the masters of this event. Now, teams prepare for weeks, months, some say all their lives to come to Cologne and take part in a major like ESL One. But of course, they need a place to get that prep on. The final moments before they play, right here at these tables, they're warming up, they're getting ready, and they're about to duke it out on the world stage. Everybody's watching, everybody wants to see. Right here is one of those places where our teams will do battle. Now, when you've got arguably the best of the best from the world's CSGO, you need a lot of place to house them. So, of course, a second setup is right behind me for a second team to be playing simultaneously. Now, of course, at ESL, we strive to show you everything, and the studio is no exception. So we've taken a different view, the bird's eye view, to show you exactly what a studio like this looks like. Well, I do hope you've enjoyed this look into the studios. But now, back to the main event.
And so here we are at the MMC Studios for the group stages of this major at ESL One Cologne. Now, let's talk about the group stages a little bit. Not every team got here the same way. We've got the Legends and the Challengers. Semler, can you brief us a little bit on that for those fans that may not be as familiar with the system?
If you're tuning in for the first time, this is still the same format that's been used throughout all the majors, essentially. So the top 8 teams from the last major get directly invited into this one. And something that's different this time around is that we actually had LAN qualifiers to settle the other 8 teams that were going to be participating to fill out the top 16, right? So that's the difference mainly. In each group, all 4 groups, you have 2 invited teams, 2 teams that got to the playoffs in the last one. and 2 teams that qualified through those LAN qualifiers.
Yep, yeah, so we've got those legends and challengers to distinguish them. As you mentioned, we're going to have them evenly spread out so far to start the group stages, but of course that can change as we move forward. We'll have more on that right now, but for now, let's take a look at those teams who did have to go through those LAN qualifiers.
Hello and welcome to the ESL One Cologne offline European qualifiers. And Kinguin are going to the major. They secured their spot just after their inception just a few months ago. The Bettel are going to be jumping and they're going to be back here in August for the major. Flipside have done it. They're going to the major once again. They are going to the major next month. Thank you for joining us throughout and we hope to see you in August.
It is the ESL One Cologne Asia offline qualifiers, the first offline qualifiers we've had in Asia. They'll be our first team that will qualify.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have your second qualified team.
8 teams earned direct invitations. Another 6 from around the world have already qualified. Over the next 2 days, 8 teams will battle it out to determine which 2 final spots will be occupied from the North American region.
CLG is going to win that best of 3. Congratulations to them for qualifying for ESL One.
And they punched the final spot into ESL One Cologne. We'll see you next time from Cologne.
And so we have them, the 8 teams that came in as the challengers. We'll take a quick look here at how the groups have been seeded out then. Groups A through D. Now this week, we start off with the group stages here, as mentioned at the MMC studios, with 2 legends and 2 challengers each. Now, as we look at the group breakdown, Henry, which group stands out to you the most, or would you say they're all pretty even?
Obviously, all the groups are exciting. You can't say there's one group particularly like crazier than the others, but one that stands out for me quite a lot is Group D. I think for that, there's a lot of rivalry going on in there, especially between Virtus Pro, Cloud9 and Mousesports, right? That's teams where they've all played together a lot recently, beat each other a lot. Mousesports, of course, broke out into Europe with their 2-0 performances twice at Gfinity, and going into CEVO as well, it was difficult for Cloud9 to actually take maps off those teams as well. So it's going to be a very interesting group, and it could go either way. So that's one for me that stands out quite a lot, and I want to see a lot from that one.
Now, what about Group A, B, and C, of course, for Flaren? Now, we will have Groups A and C here on the main stream and B and D on the B stream. What about especially C? I mean, we've got Fnatic there, Na'Vi there. People are saying, well, Fnatic and Na'Vi, that's going to be a tough group. What's your take on that one?
Yeah, I mean, that is actually my group to look out for, mainly because we have Titan. Obviously, Shox has not been playing that well when he was in Envy. He played his best game when he was under the flag of existence, so I think we're going to have to look out for Titan here. Obviously, they have a little major curse themselves, the core 3. But then we also have Na'Vi, very solid team. Fnatic, obviously, the last major winner. Probably one of my favorites to win the tournament. And eBattle is a little bit of a dark horse, I'd say. I don't think they're going to be able to do anything versus the other teams in the group, but yeah, it's overall very, very solid.
I mean, I think I'm glad that you mentioned Titan, because for me, that I shed a tear for existence when I look at that group, right? And if this was still the standard format for the group, where you're going to play it all out and the groups don't change, I think we'd be seeing Titan going home again. I don't think they'd make it out of the group phase. At least now with the reshuffle that's going to be coming up on Friday, where today we're going to decide first seed, and going into tomorrow, those groups will get reshuffled. So totally new groups pretty much. Titan now actually have a little bit of a chance to breathe. They can say, well, Fnatic and Na'Vi, they've got our number. Fnatic maybe less so, but it's still going to be a tough battle to make it out of this group if it was to stay this way. Now we have tomorrow to look forward to.
Yeah, so just so everyone knows, the way the reshuffle happens, the redrawing, we're just ensuring that teams don't have to play the same team again in their group. So one team from each group will be shuffled around, and that will solve all those issues. And that, like you said, some teams are looking forward to that. If they can't get that first seed, they can maybe even go to the winner's match, but then rest that one of the teams that had to play earlier or something like that isn't going to come up. Or if you're completely on the lower half of the group, you're like, all right, well, maybe I'll get a chance at someone else, another legend in a different group, and have a shot there. Similar, what's your take on some of the other groups? Any other team that really stands out to you other than the big names that we've discussed so far?
Well, I think, another team that's really actually going to be pretty happy with this format is Renegades, because they drew a bit of a tough number there as well, getting matched up versus TSM and NiP. That's a really rough group to be in as well. So I
think they've got a really good chance though. Like Renegades, they know they're coming into this against TSM. The form we've seen from TSM recently, that's the first game they're going to be playing. I don't see that as a runaway game whatsoever. I think depending on the map, Renegades really have got a good shot on that. So I do see that as a viable matchup, and it could be an interesting.
It's definitely a viable one. I'm just thinking that after TSM and after the last EE Pro League, where they got upset a little bit, I don't think that they can allow themselves to let their guard down anymore. Even if it is an underdog team, like to be a top tier, you have to be able to snuff those people.
Well, especially like we spoke before, but the best of one format didn't favour them so much. But it's something we all know going into this tournament. It's going to be the format. You can't really bring that to every single event saying, oh, it's best of one and let us down. You need to be playing on the top of your game. This is a major time. You need to make sure you're here and ready to go.
I mean, it's true, right? You do have to be prepared on all sides. But Flaren, what's your take on that? Let's talk about TSM a little bit. Of course, we are going to start with Group A here on the A stream. TSM, what's your take on them? Because like Henry's been saying, a lot of people have been talking about, TSM not looking too good coming into the major. That's spelling a little bit of trouble.
I mean, to be fair, TSM in general, during the majors, they've always performed well. Always gone to semifinal. They had a little bit of choking period. That seems to be over now. They've won a few tournaments this year, beating out Fnatic a couple of times as well. So I don't think that TSM will actually get upset by the Renegades. I do have them as their favorite to win their group. The matchup will probably be TSM and NiP later on this evening. But yeah, I don't think that Renegades will upset them. Same with CLG versus NiP.
All right. Well, I mean, we'll have a little bit more of a chance here to talk about that group itself, Group A. We are about to now get started with the whole event this weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. And for those of you guys, if you haven't bought your tickets yet, there's still a few left for the Lanxess Arena, but it's almost all sold out for the weekend. So if you want to see your favorite teams perform on one of the biggest stages here in CSGO, then go ahead, buy your tickets, and we'll see you over the weekend at the Lanxess Arena. Now, let's take a look at the bracket for Group A. We've been talking about it, but for your viewing convenience, we'll have that laid out for you. As we mentioned, it will be CLG versus NiP at the start. We'll kick it off with that matchup on this stream, and then followed by TSM Renegades. And before we talk more about the teams, their histories, and perhaps really what chances they have in Group A, let's take a look at CLG coming into Group A.
I mean, we're confident. We always are before group stages. We like to play first as well, and that's what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to play first versus NiP, and we're comfortable playing those teams as well. We're not afraid of anybody. So our strengths are really underlying the fact that we aren't a top team, which means that we could be overlooked or underestimated a lot of the times. And that's probably our biggest strength, is that other teams don't know what's going to hit them. We had a lot of time to prepare for this. Yeah, there's not that much competition in North America, especially right now, but we were able to get enough scrims in our opinion, to do a pretty good job here and surprise a lot of teams. Yeah, we don't worry about our rivalry versus Cloud9 when we go to majors like this. It's more about us. We want to do the best we possibly can do, and that's basically, as far as my goal is concerned and our team's goal, it's at least to make it to the semifinals and definitely make it out of groups. Would be satisfied with that. Basically, the fact that we've been friends for so long, we know how each other's personality works, so in-game, we don't bring personal issues into anything. We just kind of say what's wrong. If something's wrong, we don't get into arguments that much or that frequently. So that, I think we have that on other teams, which might be newer. Not necessarily NiP, but other teams who might have picked up a new player, maybe Kingwin, have certain issues that we're not gonna have, especially like in-game and communications. That'd be huge. We've not played like against big teams on big crowds, or having big crowds around when we play. So it'd be huge to play on stage, and I don't think any of our players really get super nervous around fans or anything like that. So it'd be huge for us to be able to make the top 8 and do well.
Counter Logic Gaming here, getting ready to play, and as they mentioned themselves, playing the very first match of ESL One Cologne. Now, we mentioned briefly before that they are facing up against a bit of a titan in their group, but Summer, what's your take so far for CLG?
Well, I'm wondering, what exactly they did before this tournament, right? Going into the tournament, did they sacrifice an animal, a console, so that Cloud9 wasn't in their group, right? Because, these guys have so much trouble versus their North American counterparts, Cloud9, who are also here at the tournament. At least they dodged that. But then they kind of just jumped into the piranha pit instead, right? Because they still have to go up against a monster right off the bat. And just the fact that they don't really seem to be 100% confident in themselves. I mean, yeah, sure, they're saying that they played the scrims, right? But that always seems to be, you know, sometimes like you get a feel for it. You don't really, you know, count that as a direct indication of how a team is going to perform in an actual live environment.
And you also have the map pool not in favor for CLG. I think it's like two or three maps that they actually don't practice. And coming into a format like this, even if they actually advance from the group stage match or group stage, they're going to be forced to play one of the maps they don't play. And then you're going to be in a situation where you're basing your draw on luck, basically. You veto one of the maps you don't play, and then at the end of the day, you might actually potentially end up with having the third map on Inferno, for example, or Cobblestone.
Right. I mean, you can't really count on that. Henry, what about you for CLG? Sounds like overall it is spelling quite a bit of trouble for them and not looking too good.
The thing about CLG is they have an amazing talent. All the players are huge impact players. They've got JDM, who's a fantastic AWPer as well. Tarek can find frags out of nowhere. So if the best one format, like depending on the map, especially, I don't really think this is too much of a foregone conclusion. A lot of people on paper would say NiP have this in the bag, but NiP have had a lot of issues going into previous tournaments. So they seem their executions don't seem to be there. The strategies maybe need to be readdressed. So if CLG are firing all cylinders, it's the first game of the day as well. If their players are on form, there's no reason why this can't go the distance. So we saw them at IEM have some fantastic results. They didn't actually manage to win a game, but it was that doesn't spell out the whole story for me. They got some very close results against some top teams. So there's no reason why they can't recreate that here.
I mean, they do also have a secret weapon.
What's that?
They're not a top team.
Boom! That's right.
I was going to like segue into it.
Thank you.
You just went straight to the bone, man.
I mean, but in reality, put it out there.
Yeah. In reality, though, CLG, one of their best maps is obviously Overpass and also Mirage. Overpass and NiP don't play.
They won't get to play Overpass.
So, and also Mirage, just basing off of NiP, they're not scared of playing Mirage first time, but is it a map that they would want to play for the start of the map?
Well, we'll find out for sure. I mean, we'll have a little bit more of a chat, and we'll get to see the veto process here from both teams as we get ready for match number 1. But of course, let's take a look at their opponents. Most of you guys may know them, NiP.
I really do think that we can reach the top level that everyone is used to see NiP in. The first goal for us is, of course, getting out of group. I mean, it's going to be tough games. Every team here is going to be really good and well prepared for the event. Going into this major, I know we have high expectations on us because we've been to every major final so far. Our preparation to this event has been pretty good, I think. We've had 3 or 4 weeks where we just focused mainly on this event. We could just play our own game. People maybe don't expect us to reach maybe the top 4, top 2, but I think we really have the potential to do so, and I think we will. It would, of course, be an amazing feeling being able to play in front of such a big crowd as we had back in Katowice and here, which is going to be at the Lanxess Arena as well. And it's going to be an amazing feeling playing in front of a lot of fans.
Indeed, looking forward to playing at the Lanxess Arena, but again, you have to get through the groups here. In order to do that, let's talk about NiP as a whole now. They've got quite a bit of history coming in, similar.
Well, they do have quite a bit of history, but then that history is going to be like a weight on their shoulders, right? There's that weight of expectation. All their fans, like they're saying, they're the most popular team in CSGO by a fair margin. They have a huge fan base, but then this is also the legendary roster that went 87-0 with a certain someone who happens to be standing next to me, right? So, I mean, there's a huge amount of history here with this team, but they have so much pressure on them that it kind of plays into what Henry was saying before, right? Best of 1 format, first match of the day. Are they going to have any of that on their minds going into this, where CLG as an underdog might be able to take advantage of it, right? Are they going to be able to just hit the ground running and go?
I think for CLG, it's going to be too much pressure. Overall, Henry was trying to hype up this matchup. I don't.
I'm trying my best first game.
Yeah, okay, I understand it's a major, the first game, you know, the tournament. But I think that it's going to be a landslide victory for NiP. I really don't see CLG being able to match up to the likes of, you know, Forrest and Get Right and the others that they have on the team. Sure, Tarek might go big, JDM if he's solid. Fair enough, they might get a few rounds on their board. But overall, I think that NiP will just.
Well, I want to ask you off of that then. Okay, in this matchup, you'd say, all right, still clear favorites for NiP. But overall in this tournament, then how do you think NiP is looking so far? Because they've had their own roller coaster rides before coming into this major.
It's the eternal struggle, isn't it? Like, it's just been, ever since there was a roster change with this team, it's been one thing after another. They've shown great plays, but at the same time, they've also shown that they're struggling. And in the last few lands, one thing that we've all kind of like come to the conclusion that we all reached is that they are playing like they're scared. Like, we watch NiP, and it feels like that pressure is getting getting to them, that they're expecting big things and they aren't quite figuring out how to get there.
It seems like they haven't evolved with the rest of the CSGO teams, especially the top teams right now. So CS is developing into more a tactical approach. The teams are getting so good at holding the CT bomb sites, for example. You need to have the set executions to fall back onto if your playbook isn't working out for you. NiP rely very heavily on their impact players in terms of Freiburg and Forest to work, keep choke points for them, get the entry frags, and then from that point they can get into the bomb sites. When they don't find those entry frags, they look a little bit lost almost, and they're forced to go into situations that don't favour them. So I think that's something they've definitely had to look at. It's something I've been saying for the last 2 months or so. They need to address that, make sure they have these plays and the strategies to fall back onto when everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
All right, Flaren, then what part of it is it that you think just CLG overall, is it just individual skill that you think NiP is still there? Do you think it's the pressure that's really going to get to them? Or is it exactly this? Because historically, it seems like everyone always mentions NA teams that just don't also have that strategy in place compared to the European teams.
I think overall, for CLG versus a team like NiP now, their first major, they don't want to go out in groups. They have a set of saying, yeah, we want to reach a semifinal. And having that back in the back of your head, you shouldn't think like that. The first focus you should have is, let's win the first game. And let's keep on rolling, keep the ball rolling. If you go in with the mindset, oh, we got to reach a semifinal, otherwise, you know, mommy's going to be upset. You're not going to have a good time.
Yeah, you're right. You've got to take game by game. Right?
Yeah.
Then there's no point setting expectations for yourself. Just take each game as it comes, and then do the best you can. Concentrate on what you're doing on that map, and that's the best way to look at it. I think Robin's right.
Well, that's exactly what the mindset that eBettle had, right? Going through the qualifiers. Yeah. They admitted themselves in the interview done on HLTV, where they're just like, well, we kind of just went into it with zero expectations. We were just messing around, and then all of a sudden, wait, we won the first game. Oh, okay, well, it's Hellraiser's next. We'll probably get trashed there too, right? Oh, no, they win that too. And then, you know, it just kind of like happens where they take one map at a time and go one step there. So, yeah, CLG, I think there's a lot of expectation on them as well, being the second best North American team. They want to prove themselves. They want to say, well, if we don't make it far, at least let's make it farther than Cloud9. But,
right. I mean, that is looming over their head, whether they wanted it to or not so far. But Henry, what did you want to add to that?
I just wanted to say, like, NiP famously, they don't struggle against these sort of tier teams. The problems I was addressing earlier, it's when they face against your Envious and people like that, the teams that really are top tier, that's when NiP look a bit out of their depth sometimes. But going up against teams like CLG, I think Robin was right in saying on paper, these guys are higher skilled than them when we talk about CLG, having some great fraggers. NiP definitely take them across the board. So this is one of the maps that they won't be going into it without confidence. They'll be going ready to go. They know they can rely on their heavy fraggers to get the impact frag. So this is a match you definitely have to favour NiP. But the point I was trying to make before is that there's a chance that CLG could cause a little bit of an upset. They get some momentum in their favour, depending on the map. Could go not either way, but there could be definitely a close contest, I think.
Now, I'm glad you brought up the whole map thing. We talked about it briefly before, but about the fact that CLG doesn't seem to, practice at all really, or really paid too much attention to 2-3 of these maps. Similar, what do you make of that? What's that conscious choice there? Do you think there's much logic to even support that?
Well, it comes back to that sacrifice that they made not to, to dodge Cloud9 in the groups. It also is going to come down to whether they luck out, basically, and get the maps and dodge the maps that they don't want. Because we have to remind people that it's still the major format, and how that works is, you get to pick a pick, but then the last 3 maps, the last one is random. So what it falls on is a random map of 3. So if you're CLG saying, well, we're good on 4, but we got 3 that are kind of weak, we can ban out like a couple of those, but there's still going to be that one. You can't have that one there. That's going to come back to bite you.
Yeah, Flaren, what do you make of that? And then comparing to NiP, shouldn't really be too much of a concern, especially in this matchup for them.
No, actually, there was, I think, the last major the second major that we ever had, we had Navi actually coming into the tournament, reaching the quarterfinals. They did not practice 2 of the maps. And the way the best of 3 works is that you ban one and then you pick one, right? So what happened was you ban one, and then the one map that they never played was Nuke. They ended up as the 3rd map, and they end up going out of the tournament because they didn't practice the map, right? So CLG is going to be in the same situation if they actually do make it out of the group stages. So, yeah. Well,
it's only going to get harder.
Yeah, exactly.
As you guys mentioned before, even let's say they do move out from the groups, and they'll still have that trouble going forward. But it looks like the vetoes are going to be underway, so we'll have those listed.
Yeah.
What we're trying to say is that it boils down to you need to be good on 6 maps. If you want to be a top-tier team at this point.
There's no excuse at this level, though.
Exactly.
So you can't come and say, we know 5 maps, that's what let us down. You knew this tournament was coming, you've qualified, you've done the hard work. Make sure you do your homework at home, boot camp together and get it done. So,
and you see there as well, NiP ban out Mirage straight away.
Yep.
It's a good ban. CLG, again, we were talking about it. They don't play Inferno, they don't play Cobble, and then Overpass, NiP don't play it.
So we predicted that from the start. Those are the maps we know that CLG are good on. So why would you even allow them to have another chance on them? So now they're going to be maps that are slightly unfavourable towards it.
Yeah, and now, like Sandra was saying, it's actually Dust2. I think this map, NiP is not a bad Dust2 team. In terms of for CLG, I think this is a really good map for them.
Yep.
Mainly because they have Tarek, the individual player. JDM can do some damage there as well. So I think this was probably the map that will be the most even in terms of all the ones that we had left. So yeah,
this is going to hit them hard. This is going to really mess up CLG because NiP on CT side, Dust2 starting off, like that's a very solid side for NiP.
Yeah, especially
they're comfortable there.
When they get the dual AWP setup going as well. If Forest gets the AWP into B, that's when they get shut down for me. So you need to make sure that you shut down NiP early. You need to win the pistol and get them on the backside of the economy where they can't go into that first gun round. That's when they're really dangerous. So I was going to just say that if there's a dream map. Considering the B2s are going to come, I think Dust2 is actually a great result for CLG, just in terms of it's a fragging map. It's one of the ones that can be explosive. You don't really have to rely too much on tactics. You're just going together. Whoever has the best aim on the executions, they normally win the bomb side duels. So I think this is a great opening game. We've got 2 frag-heavy teams, a lot of talent, a lot of explosive players. So this is actually going to be a really exciting matchup, I think.
I mean, so I want to ask you, I mean, you've been giving a little bit more hope to the CLG side for anyone who's watching. The player's just shaking his head. But, I mean, if you are watching from the CLG perspective as a fan, I mean, who are you looking at to really make a difference here? Or would you say, I mean, it just depends on whoever's on fire when the match starts?
Cutler, for me, like he's been brought in as the in-game leader now. And everyone's been saying since he's been doing that, he's been doing a great job. And the mid-round calls in Dust2, that's where it's the most important. It's not the sort of map you can say, we're going to do the A split strategy. You have to feel the map out first. CTs, especially against a team like NiP, they're going to be very confident. They're going to be pushing a lot of angles, taking down the terrorists before they even have a chance to execute. So it's going to come down to that man there. Cutler needs to read the game properly, done his research, and see how NiP approaches one.
I'm really curious to see just how much NiP have changed, if anything, on their CT side of Dust2. Because for a long time, they've been very static in how they hold. It's been very predictable. The question now is, has Alu changed up from playing cross every round? Or is Forrest going to be the man going for that AWP, trying to challenge mid? Or is Exist just going to sit in CT every round? I mean, these are things like that Cutler's going to be keeping in the back of his head saying, okay, NiP have shown these tendencies in the past. That's what Henry is mentioning, basically, where they have to find out that info. Is it like, did they go back to basics? Did they go back to the standard? Or are they trying to pull a shifty number on us?
All right, well, it is time to find out very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. The very first match of ESL One Cologne is about to start. Match between CLG and NiP of Group A. We'll be back right after this.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, here to the casting desk. I'm Anders, and with me is Moses. And Moses, how are you feeling as a fellow American? It feels like the mainly European desk there were being a bit down on CLG.
Yeah, no surprise. I thought actually the most telling thing was when Henry said they had a good showing at IEM, but they didn't win a match. You know, they put up good numbers. They're that team that always gives you enough to be hopeful and to be optimistic about them, and then it just kind of collapses. So this is like a wounded NiP team though, so this is like a good chance for them.
Yeah, honestly, at IEM, they did almost beat TSM and Envy both, and Envy ended up doing really, really well. I think they almost beat Envy on Inferno as well, which is really impressive. They've switched out having an in-game leader. Now it's Cutler doing the calling. How do you feel about that?
I like it. I think they've looked a lot better. At their first event, when he was in-game leading, there was a little bit shaky. You could tell he wasn't used to it. And as they practiced with him at the North American qualifiers, I thought they looked much more coordinated in the mid-game. I thought they had much more conviction in where they went as a team in mid-round situations. So I think that's working out really well for them early on.
I definitely had a feeling that the CT sides were so much more well-oiled when they were playing now with Cutler. Terrace side, I think, need a little bit of work, but that can be like the hardest side. It feels like getting the CT side to work can sometimes be a little bit easier, especially maybe on a map like Inferno. Well, I guess we'll see on Dust2, though, which is where NiP are going to be playing. If you had to call a favorite here, who would you say it was?
It's NiP.
Definitely NiP.
Yeah, I mean, despite everything, still, these players, just so much experience, top to bottom, and we can't forget this is a major. And I know, I mean, that's the thing. They've made every single final. Are they going to do it this time? But this is where that they really shine, is these tournaments.
Are you going to invoke that term NiP magic? Is that where we're going?
I wasn't going to, but now that you've brought it up.
It has to be brought up every once in a while, because there is something kind of eerie about this team and the major tournaments. They do have a sort of a talent for showing up. I mean, it's been pointed out multiple times. Now we're going to go into the game here. It's NiP on the CT side. It's CLG on the terrorist side. And already moving up on long fairly quickly. It's Alu holding on the NiP side and GetRight. And GetRight's going to get the first chance to shoot. Not going to hit anyone, but Alu's there to follow it up. And is going to take the face off of Hazed. But Finesse is there with a return. And Alu trying to reload in the corner. They should be overwhelming him and finally going to be able to take him down. That's Tarek with a shot. And Forrest falling back. And that's probably a good idea here. They're playing in a 4v3.
Right, and they have one player in mid. Freiburg was up there just watching for them to fall back. It hasn't happened, so they're just sticking at long. They've won that battle. They broke up the crossfire. And the response from NiP is to push onto Catwalk, get a little bit more centralized over towards A. They can watch the cross. They can play a little bit of a retake. Freiburg does have a kit, but he's alone. So if he falls at CT spawn during this retake, they will not have the kit available.
Yeah, they definitely, and that's really, really important to point out. You got to take care and notice guys at home when that kit goes down, because if it's in the wrong place, it could be a big problem. There's a nice shot from Exist. Finesse already being low. No bomb plant, then about 40 seconds here, and NiP have equalized the odds. Bomb gonna go down in a plant for long, and you can see they're controlling long. Actually, CLG, they're playing a really long con here. Already going down is Forrest, and Freiburg to fall. Exist with a great headshot. It's now a double kill, but he's in a 1v2, and they've already spotted him out. Cutler coming up from short. They've got him boxed in. This is a perfect situation for CLG. Very tough for Exist to make it out right now, and he's going to tab that bomb once and then wait for long. He's standing up, but Cutler will take him out. That was very nicely played.
Yeah, it really was. Very patient from CLG as well. They didn't overcommit to any fights. They just forced him back, made sure they got that bomb planted. You can see it too. Once it went into that 1-on-2, Exist had to jump out of the bomb site, had to drop down to pick up that kit for any chance whatsoever. But very well played by CLG early on to break up that stack at long and then move from there.
Well, they saw it coming very early as well. Even just as the bomb was going down, even though NiP were already fighting there, they actually went for the rotation out on long. So got to give it to CLG for really believing that they could get the bomb plant through. Now, this time, they're putting in a lot of speed. And Moses, this is a discussion we keep having. Should you go fast or short in a round like this where you know you're going to be playing scouts and pistols, basically?
That's the scary part. A lot of teams, especially in North America, are choosing to just take it very fast, but there's a nice shot from Freiburg on the cross. Drops one. Haste is very low. There's no armor investment from NiP. They just have the upgraded pistols on that scout, but they have Haze low. They could do a little bit more damage in this round.
Yeah, they could. That scout and the deagle on Freiburg, really never know. CLG seem to have slowed it down a little bit. They do not have another smoke for the cross either, so once that one wears out, there's a shot from Exist, and with an assist from Ala to take down Haze. So things are looking pretty good right now for NiP. They've done the damage, and we're back in a 3v3 with the bomb going down, same position.
Yeah, this has got to be a little bit nerve-wracking for CLG, not wanting to lose a couple more, but here comes NiP up Catwalk. CLG members just trying to hold off at the bomb site, play it passively, not lose too many more weapons. But that jumping scout, that puts some danger into Cutler, who's just playing at the ramp.
And Cutler trying to see if he can sneak up. Does spot 2 NiP members and a good shot there. Follow up. AK actually sees it coming. And Finesse is going to be there. Shouldn't be a chance for Exist here. No armor means he's definitely going to go down. JDM with a good headshot, long range, and CLG will manage to get back into it. And there was a bit of that mid-round stuff that you were talking about. They were going aggressive early. They get control along, but they take a lot of damage, and they seem to slow it down. And it worked out for them. Do you think that's generally a good call to play it slow after the initial engagement?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to like run into that bomb site right into an over rotation from the defense. So if they had gone so quickly, it might have been 4 players on the other 4 players on ramp from NiP. So they played a little bit patiently, make sure that defense spreads out before they actually commit. And that's a nice nade stack. FNS down to 22 HP.
Yeah, I think that was Exist and Forest picking up 1 each. Minimal investment, $600, and they bring him down and actually ends up Forest with a kill as well. Mid-air headshot from Freiburg with the P250, and he's looking for a bit more. They've got to be careful. They need to double up. They're going one at a time, and Freiburg hits another headshot, taking down Tarek to 14 health. Very scary indeed. One more shot then, and that could have been a double kill and a very bad situation for CLG. And look at this boost up. Exist gonna hit the shot over the smoke, and Tarek is down. JDM and Cutler are left. The bomb is not planted yet.
And of course, it's going to be Get Right coming from behind. He does spot JDM, doesn't take the battle at that long range, but look at how boxed in CLG is. There's nowhere to go. The entire NiP team is over here, 4 on 2. They do smoke off the door, but the scout isn't going to be able to hold off 2 players. And there he goes. Forrest and Get Right managed to trade him off. It's just Cutler left in the site. He gets 2. He knows the next 2 are in the B tunnels, but he tries to go for the plant. Gets dropped by Forrest. Not prepared for that.
Wow, that is a huge turnaround. A round that CLG should have won, even more than the second one. This time, no scout in play initially, and no armor, just a double grenade, and they made all that work from it. Now you can see CLG back on no armor currently, just a couple of grenades and pistols here.
The problem was they didn't trade Freiburg off and be quick enough. They played that so slow after he got that first kill. It allowed all the rotations to come in for NiP. And now mid-aggression, Exist not able to land the shots. Forrest bails him out with 2 kills. He does eventually fall, but he's done the damage. Now Forrest can just play it safe.
Yeah, so real power play in the beginning here. Get Right also pushing out long, taking that fight and winning it against JDM. So it could double kill. All they've lost is Exist so far, and I think maybe also a way of telling CLG that we're so fired up. Like, from winning that round, we're even willing to push the middle next round, just to show how little we respect you and how much we're willing to go in on winning this match. So I kind of like that from NiP. I feel like so much of the lack of results lately for this team has been down to just a complete lack of confidence. So I love seeing this early on from the team.
It'd be interesting to know if they thought that CLG was going to be buying that round to do that push against those pistols. You don't want to necessarily push up and give away a gun. So I think they were trying to set the tone early on the first gun round. It just happened to be a save. So we'll have to see what kind of aggression they come up with this round, as JDM does pick up an AWP, but Alu and Forrest 2 of their own. So a double op setup here on the defense very early on.
Yeah, which is a pretty big investment. Both those players are kind of low on money as a result, but we'll see if it's going to pay off or not. They make the crossover in the middle, not going to try and fight JDM. Almost with the shot. I think he landed it right between the 2 players. Does see 2 out there, and it's very common. I think almost every team will know this by now, for three NiP members to push that long, especially when they have Molotovs. They'll throw the Molotov, they'll throw the double grenade, make absolutely sure no one's going to be there. So, yeah, that should be some good information for CLG anyway. But sneaking into the middle, it's a good kill from Forrest onto Cutler from the scaffolding.
And this looks like they wanted to have some kind of a mid-B split, clear out mid and then smoke it delayed. The bomb is still in upper B tunnels with FNS, who's all alone. Now Hazed is trying to give a little bit of attention on Catwalk. Going to smoke things off, maybe try and force a rotation, but NiP doesn't have to move. They have the man advantage, so they're just going to keep 2 players in that B site.
A bit of a smoke for CT spawn, falling back in. Tarek's already cleared the middle, so they know that no one's in here watching. It's going to be Freiburg from B bomb site. He goes down. That's a great shot from JDM, which is going to leave Forrest inside the bomb site, jumping up into the window. No scope, not going to hit. He's being surrounded, and he goes down. And smooth execution right now for CLG, apart from the fact that the bomb is a bit far back, which is always a bit scary. But NiP have to wonder, do they want to go for this retake or not?
Yeah, they need to grab a kill here early, but JDM still doing damage, finds another pick. That was a very clever execution from CLG, throwing the smoke down onto the ramp from Catwalk to kind of disguise the fact they wanted to do a mid-B smoke. And then JDM's just doing all the work from there. 3 kills for him in this round. Once he took out Freiburg in that B bomb site, it was only Forrest with the AWP. It's so hard to hold off a mid-B split with just an op in that site. And CLG's eventually going to grind that round out. And like you said, big investment for that double op setup early on for NiP. That's going to do a lot of damage to their money. They do pick up 1 more. That's going to be passed over to Alu.
Yeah, but the result is also visible here. 1 from us, 1 Max 7.
One kit.
And 1 kit. The Max 7 is great. You could play it in B, but also on short if you do the jumping Max 7, which is always hilarious. Finesse, for a bit of a flashbang there, but he already got double grenaded a couple of times. He doesn't want to risk it again. I love that last round from CLG. I don't even think Freiburg wanted to fight in that B-bomb side. I think he just wanted to spot, and even that was too much. Too many pixels given away to JDM there.
Yeah, one thing we haven't really mentioned too much is JDM as an opper is really starting to come into his own on the CLG squad.
That smoke we just saw went down, and great job for YNK to point that out for us there. That's one of the new smokes you can throw all the way over from CT spawn because of the hitbox or the skyboxes that have been removed. So that's actually a new feature of Dust2, and it's great that you can do that now. It adds a lot more to the game, so I absolutely love that.
This looks like very similar. Put some pressure on Catwalk, force the defense back. The bomb is still all alone. This is going to be another mid-B split. Hayes gets the opening kill, but here's Forrest, try to defend. He gets traded off after getting 2 kills.
Oh man, a 2 for 1 in the middle. Definitely a good job. Now Freiburg alone in this bomb site, and he has to stand tall. He needs to get this first kill at least, and there's Cutler gone down. Freiburg with the M4A4 going for it again. He's going to bait Tarek out. He takes the shot. Freiburg swinging around the box here. 35 seconds left. He wins it again and has time to reload. He even spots Finesse and is going for the triple. Freiburg going to get it as well with a headshot. One of the few people left in the professional scene to use that M4A4, but all 30 bullets came into play there.
Yeah, he comes up huge for his team. The only defender, and once again, another situation where CLG, bad job trading 3-on-3, not, trying to set up for a post plan already without clearing out the bomb site. Freiburg's able to take advantage of it.
How much could they have guessed that Freiburg was going to be in that position? How many other good positions are there to hold if you're in that kind of position where Freiburg was?
It's hard coming through window like that, but I mean the thing is they had one player stayed in mid to watch for a run through smoke. The player in B tunnels wasn't aggressive enough, so there's no one to trade that kill off.
Right. So just a question of timing, maybe a little bit more, and CLG could have made it work. It's 3-3 right now. What's a good score for CLG? They are the underdogs here. They're the ones that need to show us something big. How many rounds do they need on the terrorist side of Dust2 here?
As many as they can get. They want everything, so I think they need to at least get up towards 7 and 8. Especially on the terror side.
All right, so 7 and 8, that's like the minimal buffer here that we're looking for. Less than that, it might be a really big problem. Of course, this round, no armor and just a couple of pistols here. Alu with a bit of a missed shot, but it's not going to be an issue at all. Nobody going down for NiP, which...
that's huge.
Yeah, that's going to give them a bit of a foundation to work with, economically speaking.
That's massive for all 5 to survive. Now you can see they have the kits, they have the Molotovs, they're going to be picking up the smokes. They're back to this double op setup, and they picked one up from the previous round. So that's basically a free AWP. And it looks like CLG... not a full save. They are going to pick up some armor and some upgraded pistols. Also some utility to try and make a little bit more progress onto a bomb site to get the bomb down.
Wow, double boost onto Catwalk. So I was pointing out how much NiP love going 3 long, but you can tell they're really trying to switch up the defense here and keep CLG guessing. We're going to have to see if Cutler is able to guess what's going on. But this time, it's another round with a minimal investment for CLG. They're going to try and see if they can sneak out long, and Cutler gets the perfect timing on get right. And that's unusual. That's not easy to do.
Yeah, no, you don't catch get right out like that too often. So there's a little bit of a freebie. They have the first kill, but they still have a lot of work to go with. They haven't even salvaged that gun quite yet. They just pick it up on Hayes, but they know there's players out at long. And this is the long-range battle with the AWP. Alu wants to take this. He's going to miss that initial shot, though.
Oh, grenade lands right in between, but look at the damage. 91 to JDM. That's a huge grenade coming out. No armor means those grenades deal a tremendous amount of damage. That's one of the big benefits of having body armor, is just to take some of the blow off there. Finesse waiting, and this is a really good job. This is similar to what they were doing in the pistol round, leaving one guy back here. This could actually pay off really big with the Tech 9. He's making a little bit of noise, and he's lost 2 teammates, so it's a 4v3. Finesse coming up from behind as Tarek goes down. He's going to have to go big, but already turning around. Freiburg doing great damage, and now it's a 1v3. No chance at all. NiP just being a little bit too quick this time.
Smart play by Alu as well, staying alive in that A site when the hit was coming. He misses that initial shot, throws out his grenade, and instead of staying to try and fight, he knows they can be creeping up close along that wall. He just drops down.
You're talking about Get Right and how you don't really catch him off guard, and there are only a couple of players in the scene, I would say, that have, because timing is such a hard skill to quantify. Like, how do you say someone has good timing? It's actually probably like a mixture of a bunch of other factors, like experience and map knowledge and game knowledge and all that stuff. But Get Right and Snacks, in my opinion, are like 2. If I had to make like a top list, those would be at the top of my list probably.
Yeah, exactly.
Like timing gods, essentially.
And they pull out this boost again over on Calc to look into lower B. One's coming up close. They just turn away at the wrong moment. Hayes almost able to find something there, but now he knows he's got to clear this out. There's 2 players here. Playing behind this box, it's a nice nade and peek from Zist. Hayes isn't ready for it, no trade, so NiP still has complete control of Catwalk.
Yeah, smoke goes off as well just to make sure that they get reversed and get right with a double, almost a double. It was just a single one there, but Tarek could have easily gone down. He did run out of bullets. It's the M4A4 and not the M4A, the M4A1. But there's Aloe taking out Tarek, and it's going to be a return kill finally from Cutler here. There's still a chance, plenty of time, and in a 2v3, this could be done.
2 ops as well left on NiP at the moment. So if they're able to get into a bomb site, it could be difficult for NiP players to take that bomb site back with these 2 sniper rifles. Forrest has actually just pulled out the Tech 9 completely.
Yeah, close range like this in the middle, it'll be a lot of damage, but JDM is ready for it. In spite of the pop flash in from a teammate, it wasn't enough. And now Freiburg is going into upper dark. He doesn't want to get caught in that bomb site, and he's going to be rotating in. He doesn't spot anyone here, which might be an indication. And look at Aloe. He's reading this game really well. Doesn't hit the shot, but the information is very good anyway. They do not have an HE grenade. Otherwise, probably one of these CLG players would get grenaded just trying to put the bomb down. But instead, they're going to have to play for the afterplant here. JDM up on Catwalk, and he's going to get that shot on Aloe as well. It makes it a double. We're just going to leave it on Freiburg, walking up long.
That's actually a huge opening kill. Freiburg catches one off guard. That's actually the Molotov as well. Cutler had one. He can't use it now for the bomb, so they had a bad read on where he was coming from. Now it's all up to JDM. Like you said, low HP, no nades for Freiburg, though.
But the plant is great back here. Freiburg can't smoke it off either. He's crouching and he wants to see JDM, and he's going to get the shot as well. Great clutch from Freiburg. Gets a double and a huge blow to CLG. If they'd won that round, they would have got a foot back into the game. But now, actually, NiP are in a pretty good position. They have a couple of members at the end of that round at a plus 10,000. Yep. So a lot of money to spend, even though they lost 4 members in that round. They're going to be all right.
Right. This is a good buy, though, out of CLG with the plant. They did get those 4 kills. That's a small mistake that is just heartbreaking, is not having any eyes on long. Cutler just in too exposed of a position to see where to really handle that kind of a flank from Freiburg. So well done from him. But the op of JDM almost pulled him right back into that round in that 2-on-3.
Yeah, very impressive. I mean, the rotation worked out well. If Freiburg had stayed in the B-bomb site, he wouldn't have been long in time anyway. So, I mean, a good individual call from Freiburg as well, just deciding, I can't stay and wait in here. I need to move out. So, pretty good job on him as well. Aloe in the middle gets tagged up a bit through those metal doors. And we're in the 10th round here, so just 2/3 of the way into the first half, and Tarek going down first.
Yeah, and there's so much utility left on the CLG squad. That's a pick that just doesn't need to be given away. Smoke those doors off. Flash them if you're going to try and cross and get up on Catwalk. Now they're splitting up. They're going to go try and take long delayed, as they've been doing a lot this half. So Get Right still in the pit. He's going to be the one coming for it, but FNS, a nice shot on him, and now Exist is feeling very lonely in this bomb site.
Oh, this is going to be tough. If you look the wrong way, the wrong time here, the Molotov follow-up, now he's going to have to move, and they're out on long as well. He goes down to Cutler, almost takes him with him, but not going to be quite enough here. So a man advantage for CLG. Bomb's about to go down, but Forrest going to catch Cutler, trying to hide in that corner, and now the reverse Molotov on the bomb planter. JDM going to have to move out of there, and he does just creep in behind the box. Also, Hayes playing in CT spawn. NiP going to have to do this very well, and Forrest mid-air takes him down. JDM sprays, and it's a return. It's now a 2-for-2. Finesse taking down Forrest, and Freiburg very low, but the fire. JDM ends up dropping to Freiburg, and can he clutch it again? He's moving in now. He's got the AWP. What a rare sight. And Freiburg, he's going to hold it down. Finesse, is he going to dare it? 2-3, there it is. Great headshot and a great triple kill for Finesse, and CLG, they get a much-needed round.
Yeah, beautiful triple kill from FNS, getting that entry over towards long, taking Get Right out immediately, and then it follows up. Cutler in the bomb site exists, and Get Right defending that site didn't get any kills, so the rotation does come in. It's just a little bit too little too late.
That could have been scary, and Finesse, it's also hard for him to know. There was plenty of time, so Freiburg could have faked it and tried to shoot him instead.
Well, he played that smart, because he got close up on that long corner, you know, knowing, and Freiburg picks up the op thinking he's going to be farther away just to defend that at platform or in pit. So FNS tricks him out a little bit there.
Well, look at this. Another good read coming out here from the American team. They actually see the boost coming, and they take down Get Right on Catwalk. Very, very good read. If you have that in the Noah tower, as we sometimes refer to it, going very far back indeed. Yep. But if you have that tower, it's not unreasonable to also have someone going aggressive on Catwalk, because you can help each other out a bit. So really good read from CLG, although they're walking into a lot of damage. Freiburg will go down to Finesse in the middle, and now swinging through Forrest. A lot of members here, and he's going to get just the one. Things are looking great right now for CLG.
Yeah, they've played these early games in the last couple rounds very, very well. Now look at it. They're just picking NiP apart. They've gotten some opening kills, spreading out the defense and taking advantage of the gaps. And FNS is going to clean up Aloe at the end. So this might finally allow CLG to take control of the game economically.
This must have felt like a round for NiP where everything they did, it seemed like CLG already knew. Starting off middle grenade, get right coming short, then the rotation towards B. They got caught off left and right, and NiP are going to be ecoing here.
That's a team coordination out of CLG that we haven't really seen at all in the past. So this is the thing with Cutler calling. These are the kind of plays that they're starting to make now, and it's looking very, very impressive.
JDM going to get the shot out on long, not going to run into any grenades because NiP just do not have them. Alu baiting a little bit, and Get Right going to come up from the pit. Good shot there, tries to get another one. Would have actually been impressive. I'm not sure if it was the pistol choice, but if he had got that first kill immediately, probably could have turned into a double kill. But no worries here for CLG. They shouldn't be losing any more members. Freiburg trying to hide in the corner. Maybe Finesse going to go down, but he is doing a pretty good job checking everywhere, and he's going to get that kill on Freiburg as well. So score is tied here, Moses, at 6-6.
Yeah, this is looking good for CLG. They had a little bit of a stumble, but these delayed takes up catwalks, delayed takes out long have been very effective. And NiP is just getting caught, when they're losing those first players, everything from there, they're getting caught in very isolated positions, just one player at a time. And you can see here, Alu picks up the Mag 7, the shotgun, just so he can have a kit and he can have full utilities, because there's no other kits on NiP, and there's very, very light nades moving forward.
Yes, and let's just point that out as well. That's one of the reasons I think why Alu is such a fantastic player, just being so flexible. There's a good shot initially. Get Right going down. Mad spray from Tariq. They're out on long. They're going to go for Existence. Well, he goes down. Double kill here. And Tariq, one of the really heavy hitters on this team and such a talent. I feel like he's still very much in the making. Give him a couple of more years and you will see a terrifying force. He has his ups and downs, but recently it seems like it's
been all
getting
ups
more
lately.
Yeah, it's all ups lately.
Hey, here's the thing, over a minute left and you're in a 3-on-5, this defense is going to start getting spread out. You can already see it a little bit. Alu just playing over towards A. There's one player on catwalk, Freiburg over towards B, so they have no read now. They can't even make any kind of information plays to kind of figure out where CLG is going to go. Now Freiburg hears the flash. He's going to try and pop flash himself in, make some magic happen, try and salvage this round. Can't find anything initially. CLG's keeping him at bay, and there's the smoke at the doors. That should be it.
Great job. Alu will take down Tariq, though. He was very low, and Freiburg is going to win that fight now. Forrest coming up from behind. It's from a 5v3 into a 3v3. Forrest swinging around. He takes down JDM, sprays for another one, and it's Finesse gone down. Now Hayes alone in a 1v3. CLG, they're tossing it away, and Freiburg picks up another kill, and it's NiP back with a 7-6 lead here, and that should never have been their round.
That's crushing if you're CLG. A 5-on-3 entering this B bomb site, and NiP finds every kill they need to at the right moments. Just that kill, the spray through the smoke from Freiburg, it takes the attention of JDM away from tunnels. He's watching that flank for the whole time, and once that kill goes down, feels like he needs to go help him get the bomb down, and that's when Forrest makes his move.
Absolutely devastating. JDM watching the cross in the middle, doesn't want to take any kind of early shots. I was just about to commend CLG for not fighting Freiburg, but putting down the smokes and playing it safely, and they still lost control of that round. And these are the kind of rounds that, let's say realistically, if we want to see NiP in the finals here, these are the rounds that they used to be so well known for, and that they need to pull out, not just against CLG, but against every team.
Oh, and then you look at that from CLG's point of view. If this is a team that wants to take that next step to be a threat constantly in these tournaments, those are rounds you absolutely cannot lose.
I agree. Now, it's going to be Forrest up here with a position that Cloud9 have been favoring a lot recently. One of the ways that they try and break that mid-B split push. So we'll see. It looks like they've got the right read. That position is super valuable where Forrest is holding.
It's going to be a mid-B split, but I mean, little does NiP know, there's going to be 4 members in B tunnel, so they might not even split this. Hayes might just lurk in middle, but it's going to be Mass as a mid-B split. So Forrest is a great position, but he's not going to see anything.
You're absolutely right, and that's crucial. We're going to see now Freiburg is going to have to really step it up. He's done it a couple of times already, and now it's his chance again. He sprays madly and only takes Finesse down to 34. He's going to have a chance here to reload, but he won't even take it. Cutler will take him out, and now Forrest wins the fight in the middle, but the B bomb site is lost. Bomb being planted here. Forrest nearly getting the kill. But now it's a 4v4. They've got 2 Molotovs. One of them just being used. Another one, I think, about to be put up here. Forrest, very low on health. Gonna have to see if he can fall back. But he actually runs through and takes that trade. Now it's a 3v3, and that bomb is ticking. Exist running through. He goes down. Tariq picks up a kill, and Tariq with another one. He makes it a triple. Alu very low on health. It's a 1v2, and he tries to push through with the AW. He goes down to JDM and CLG. They're going to win that fight. Tariq with the triple. They hold the line in spite of everyone being tagged up.
It looks so scary. They were getting spammed through every box. Forrest makes great play. Actually, that one kill, I thought that was going to break the round for CLG when he gets that kill on FNS into the bomb site, because that's a crucial spot to holding that site. So once that player's out, the rest of your teammates can stream through that window, but instead it's just Tariq spraying them all down. down. And a very broken buy for NiP on this last round. 3 pistols, 1 shotgun, no kits whatsoever.
And you said it, Moses, 7 or 8, that was the foundation that CLG need for when the second half rolls in. That's something that they need, these 7 or 8 rounds here, and it looks like they're getting there. So pretty good job on their part here. Freiburg with a deagle does a lot of damage, but he can't pick up the kill. And this time, there's really almost no way that they can throw it away. Now, 8 rounds. I think I have a feeling CLG are going to be okay with it, but if you think about how they lost that 5v3, that's going to come back and haunt them a bit.
Absolutely. I think the big thing for CLG at the moment is that there was an emphasis in this defense NiP to have that double op setup, and JDM has been out-opping both NiP snipers in this matchup so far. He's been very effective for his team.
And
so
it's Dust2, right? It's the AWPing map, so he's going to have a big impact doing that.
Look at Cutler quietly with 17 kills. Forrest is leading the server with 18, but
how does that work? He's doing the in-game leading and also top fragging, actually out-fragging Tarek, who I feel like some of Tarek's rounds have been really high impact. Even though he's lower on the scoreboard, he's still been having a high impact. But Cutler, obviously, playing his heart out right now.
He does that. That's just kind of his thing. He's going to get, his 15 to 20 kills. I mean, he just does it consistently.
I'm very impressed so far. The second half is going to be coming up as well, so I hope you guys are ready for it. Just about a minute left here, and it is the first game of the ESL One Cologne Major. We're still not at the Lanxess Arena. That's going to be the final 2 days, but yeah, it's the group stage, and it's our very first game. Moses, how do you feel? CLG, have they been playing better or worse than you expected?
Better, to be honest with you. Although, as much as I've said that recently they've looked much, much improved, it's just the question of, is that going to translate to European opponents? Because they've been playing in North America where the quality of the play is a little bit lower, top to bottom. So they've looked good, but now it's translating against NiP, and we saw it translate a little bit at IEM, but still, I mean, they've got to close these matches out at some point. They cannot be that team that just gets the rounds and we're like, good job, you got close. They've got to convert one of these into wins.
Yeah, because if you get close a bunch of times, that will be fuel to keep you trying. You feel like we're so close all the time, just a little bit more and we're there. But if it never comes, then it turns into frustration instead. You feel like, okay, there's something wrong since we can't do it, and then, it's time to make a change, or people just start getting annoyed instead. Second half coming up here. What kind of pistol round do you want to see out of NiP here? Terror aside.
Aggressive. I mean, do we see most of these teams right now in the professional scene playing very aggressive, more fast-paced pistol rounds? I'd like to see them not do a default. You get on your horse and make something happen. Be the aggressors.
All right, so the default round will probably be trying to take control of mid, upper dark, and long. Make sure that CLG aren't pushing them anywhere, and then make up their minds. See how many people they can spot middle. That'd be the default play. See if NiP are going to go for it here. 2 smokes. I would say that could be an indication that there's going to be some sort of B split involved here.
Yeah, especially with 3 players and the bomb going over towards the B site, but they've spotted. Freiburg has spotted out a couple. This is very aggressive. Look at the upper push from CLG. They're going to come in. They're going to come into these tunnels. No one from NiP is looking that way, but they turn around, they deal the damage, and they force them back. So that's nicely done from NiP early on. Yeah,
and actually a really big save there, because Cutler was also being super aggressive in the middle. So I think actually CLG are trying to knock NiP a bit off their balance here in the second half, but Forrest is already in that A-bomb site, just checking it out, and now here comes the bomb carried by Alu, and Forrest has got control of everything, so it's going to be a full-on retake here. 1 smoke, 1 kit on CLG. It'd be almost a miracle if they could retake this site. There's so many NiP members, but it starts great. Hazed, who's been almost absent for the first half, comes in second half. Get right here, looking behind. He takes one, almost a double kill. And there's going to be Tarek caught in CT spawn. Now it's a 3v4, and that bomb is ticking away. JDM moving up. He gets shot down by Alu. Jumping burst right, gets a second one as well. And it's going to be FNS now over on long. No chance. Forrest picks it up. What a turnaround there. Alu, double jumping shot.
Forrest takes that A-bomb site completely for free. A little bit of an over-rotation from CLG. But the real beauty of NiP that round is when Get Right's lurking in middle, you talked about his timing, and he's got the information. He said there's a couple players coming into CT spawn. Forrest and Alu both jump down to help clear out that one avenue of attack. So what they want to do is just eliminate players rotating through CT spawn, and then as a team, they can concentrate on catwalk later on. And beautiful shots from Alu, but it comes down to Forrest taking that A site, no resistance whatsoever.
Really, really good job. CLG relying on this round with no armor, well, except for Hazed. No scout being picked up. What do you think about that? That is unusual by European standards.
That to me just says they want JDM to have that AWP. They're just like, don't buy anything in these rounds whatsoever. Get that op out in the 4th round, because if you buy that scout this early, if you invest in armor and an upgraded pistol, you're not going to have an AWP in the 4th round.
And I'm wondering if it's also a sign for CLG to say, look, even if we lose these couple of rounds here, if it goes 10-8, we'll come back. We can still win this. We're that confident in our CT side that we'll give you these rounds potentially. They're going to lose the B bomb site. It was a good setup, and I do want to give them credit for buying 2 flashbangs, which they did. I think investing just a couple of $100, I say this over and over again, but I get really upset when teams don't buy any grenades in the eco rounds. That always
you never know when one pop flash can blind 3 players and you can just spray them down. But either way, NiP handles that really, really well. Very patiently as a team walking through those B tunnels. Forrest finds the kills to open it up.
Exist taking out JDM. Grenade not going to be able to chase down Hayes there, but he's going to end up running away. He does have armor, so he actually has a reason to save it. Cutler has the flashbang as well. Again, it may sound ridiculous, but at this level, you know, one guy with the armor and 5-7, and maybe Cutler with a good pop flash. We've seen some freaky rounds build on even less than that.
Right, that'll be nice going into the next round, and that'll be something where they position Hayes so that he can be the one. He's the one who takes contact for CLG first with that 5-7 and armor.
We saw how they had to set up long last round. They were hiding on the corner along, and I think actually it was Cutler who was a little bit further back, ready to pop flash them in. NiP never showed up, but if they do this round, we'll see what can happen here.
Well, here's the thing too, with Forrest at 21-11, playing like a really good form that we haven't seen him in some time. Playing it so slow, he's just got those kills as soon as they show up on his screen, so it's hard to execute a setup like that if Forrest is just going to take someone's head off immediately. And this time, with the MAC-10 being very aggressive, jumps up on the box, spots one on the platform, and that's Tarek, but there's the pop flash. Tarek can't take advantage of it quite yet, but it's FNS from the doors who does it.
Really good job now. Get right over on Long, gonna spot it out. He sees one player, and he's already put up the smoke from the window there. So now Cutler gonna pop flash his way, and everyone is flashed, including Cutler, which is not the ideal situation. But he actually gets into Kai, hits a headshot while flashed, and now it's Tarek and Finesse left here. 2v3, more than a minute left. Tarek sprays down one with the stolen MAC-10, and now Finesse from behind. They're both there. He's gonna miss the first couple of shots, and that's gonna end his chances. Exist with a triple. That's a lot of damage done by CLG. I feel like we say it here, Moses, and it pops up there. That one flashbang.
Yep, and it was flashbangs repeatedly, just everyone blind at Long. I can't believe Cutler was able to make it to those cars like that. If he had been a little bit patient, because there's no chance they would have thought he would have made that.
Yeah.
And he just waits. That would have been cool. But either way, do the damage. 10-8 now for NiP. It's the first full buy round for CLG. JDM does have that AWP, peeking up middle, going for the duel against Alu, but neither member finding anything.
Yeah, and you called it, Moses, earlier. Saving straight for that AWP, not investing too much into the previous rounds. And you were saying in the first half, he's been out-AWPing the NiP snipers, both Alu and Forrest. So I can understand why they want to make that investment. But NiP, very quick into the middle. They're in upper dark as well with the bomb. If they get one frag here, they're probably going to win the round almost immediately.
Right, but they fall out of that mid control. They had complete control of it. They fall up to Catwalk. They know they've got to push back any defense that might be up here at Bricks. And there's no one there, so this is just a very standard setup from CLG.
Tarek setting up with a pop flash for the middle, and he's waiting for a Q, and this could be part of the Q here. A trigger-based position sometimes is what we're referring to as. Smoke going up is going to mean Tarek wants to take a peek in the middle, pop flash out, sprays through, and very nearly catches Forrest. A significant amount of damage being put up, and then the follow-up Molotov means Exist is actually going to run into CT spawn. No, he's going to go back out again. And takes a lot of damage for it. NiP very soft already, but it's Freiburg to open it up. Gets one, and that could have easily been a headshot. He's taking the fight here. CLG needs to think about what they want to do. They have control along, and that's a good position to retake from.
Right, but Forrest isn't going to let him get away. So now this retake is very spread out. Really, there's just these two CLG members at Long, but one player CT spawn, one player trying to flank up Catwalk. Are they actually going to go for this? FNS spots ahead. There's Alu with the kill, but FNS can't do anything, and it all collapses from there. And once again, they get into that A bomb site for nothing. I mean, JDM does get dropped by Freiburg, but no defense mounted by CLG inside the bomb site. Playing that for a retake, and it doesn't work out. They just get punished.
Great call from NiP. I thought for sure they were going to continue to execute into B, but as you said, they clear short, and they don't even see anyone there, so they just thought, all right, well, let's just keep going in that case.
You're going to give it to us, we'll take it. And that's exactly what they did on pistol round. That's a couple times now, very early on in the second half, so NiP being very confident entering into these bomb sites.
Well, it's going to be 3 flashbangs currently on CLG. We'll see if they can make something good happen for themselves. They do need it. At 12-8, I would say it's definitely still winnable for CLG, but then they also need to start stepping it up. They got to make this back to 12-12 afterwards and see if they can make it work. Unless they could just straight win this round, which is definitely not easy.
No, not at all. They do have the pop flashes that you mentioned. Cutler has one, so does Hayes. There's the smoke at long. There's a flash for NiP on itself, and Hayes isn't using it quite yet. He gets caught an angle of the smoke GetRight's been able to find. Here's Cutler. He's going to try next. Completely blinds GetRight, but Freiburg bails him out. So 5 on 3 now. NiP not taking any damage so far. And shots from Exist down in the middle as well.
Tarek low on health, JDM to follow, and no issue at all. In fact, JDM catching that grenade with his feet, it seems. It's going to bring them to 12-8, which was predictable. So let's see. Now is the time. They're going to pick up that AWP on JDM. That's no surprise. What do you want to see from CLG? What needs to change? Is it just that A-bomb side, or are there other weaknesses in the setup here for the CT side?
Well, one thing they were doing in the first half that was really, really good was together. They were playing early rounds very well, finding an early pick, and that's kind of what they need to get back to on CT. Find a way to have some coordinated aggression, find an early kill, give yourself a man advantage, and there's one. Freiburg commits to the fight, almost takes out Hayes, but JDM swings out first, and now he's just going to stay perched at these doors. They have a nice crossfire set up. There's Force. He can't connect either. So JDM with 2 kills, put him into a 5-on-3, and they cannot afford to lose this round.
Excellent stuff. It looks like that last one almost was through the wall as well, but it's a good return from Alu now in the middle. Tarek gonna go for the spray down. He really then he gets 3 in with a headshot while Flash drops the bomb and Alu takes him out, but both NiP members are very, very soft at the moment. It should be a cleanup here for CLG to get them back in the game. Cutler sneaking up from behind, then he's seconds away from spotting Alu, but Hayes will take it away. And I think that's actually important. They need to get Hayes back in this game because he feels like he's been out for a while, and JDM finds a 3rd kill of the round for himself to make it 12-9. Great round here, especially from JDM.
Right, but it's not over. There's so much money built up for NiP, especially with another bomb plant there. 3 members over 10,000 for NiP. So getting a reset here for CLG would be absolutely disastrous.
Oh, and Tarek actually calling a timeout here. So I'm wondering if it's a tactical timeout.
I think it is, and I actually like that call with how important this next round is. Actually, no, he does disconnect from the server, so maybe it's not tactical, but this next round is just so crucial for CLG if they want to get back into it.
Just to catch people up, you are allowed to take 1 tactical timeout per team, per game. I think it's like a minute or 2 max, so you can't obviously stay timed out forever. Can be very important, probably, I think, underutilized by pro teams. Some teams are much worse at it. I think TSM is one of the worst teams at getting these timeouts in. They almost never do it. They just kind of keep tilting until they fall. But some teams have actually become pretty good at using it.
Well, the cool thing about the timeouts is we saw it at I think it's most events probably, but especially at the ESL Pro League finals that we had, every time a team took a timeout, they won the following round. So you can just see how effective they are.
Well, I think we are headed back into the game now. It's just starting now on the 22nd round, and Freiburg immediately takes down JDM, a stunning headshot.
Yeah, a crucial kill. That's JDM, so the op is out of play now for CLG. 5-on-4. Freiburg's been an animal just with his 1 or 2 impact frags around. He's been doing great so far in this half.
Well, Cutler sneaking up here. The heavy hitter and also in-game leader for CLG has been doing so much, but it seems he has to do a little bit more. Flash through the smoke. It would have been great if he'd run into 1 or 2 people there, but 3, a bit too much, and it means Hayes is now alone on the bomb site. Molotov there, he's forced out. He actually gets a kill, gets a second one. Hayes going mad. That might bring them back in the round. Amazing double kill coming out here for Hayes, and now Tarek instantly shutting down Alu, who missed that shot. Exist is low on health. A little flashbang, GetRight coming out long, and it's going to be Tarek and Hayes destroying all of NiP. What a huge round. Hayes really pulling his weight in this one round. That was pulling them back. They had lost that round basically at that point.
Right. That might make up. You mentioned it. He seemed like he had kind of. We hadn't really been saying his name a whole lot in this match. He was down very, very low. Hadn't made a presence, and there it is. No bigger round to do it in than that one. So they're not forced onto an eco. They don't reset the economy. JDM's got the AWP back in his hands. And once again, just setting up in very, very spread out. 1 player in CT spawn, 2 over towards long, 2 in the B bomb site for CLG.
Hayes actually got 4 kills in the first half. That's how absent he was. In 15 rounds, he pulled in 4 kills. But that one round, he pulled them back from an almost unwinnable situation. If he goes down in that bomb site, it's lost. They're playing a 5v2 essentially. So huge plays from him. And obviously Tarek and Long doing a really good job as well.
And this is CLG thinking there's going to be a mid presence. They have a player boosted up in CT spawn, I believe, behind that box. We saw NiP try and utilize this one. He might get some action. but they also have 2 players in B, so they think there's going to be some kind of a mid play. They want to shut that down. Once again, it's going to be pretty much a retake strategy over at A. JDM will go for a shot and fall back towards long, but look at this delayed execution from NiP. 1 player in pit at the moment.
Hayes is going to have to come up big, otherwise JDM is going to get boxed in. He does get a headshot, flashes his way out. JDM sneaks on him, but he's going to get down by Alu. Hayes looking for a bit more, but he's going to get caught by Forest and NiP. They may bend a long way, but right now it doesn't feel like they're breaking. They're just fighting their way back into this round. Bomb going to go down. It's a long plant. Makes a lot of sense. They do have 2 people there. So even as Exist goes down, this is going to be tricky. There's 1 chance, and that's the smoke on Cutler. Up in the bomb site on Goose. Freiburg goes down. Where's that smoke? It's already up. Cutler put it down. The Molotov not going to do anything when the smoke is up. And now they're fighting their way back. CLG, they actually get the retake home. Tarek picking up a double kill. Moses, please tell me, how did they lose that round?
One Freiburg over in Goose. He had to get 1 kill there. That was still so perfect for NiP. Set up wonderfully with that plan at long. 2 players at long still alive, but just winning all the duels are CLG members at the moment. Hayes coming alive, winning a battle early on. Tarek on these retakes has been so effective. I'm surprised. I actually thought CLG was going to use that smoke in the bomb site to kind of sneak a defuse through.
Yeah, that was my thinking too. I didn't even notice until the end that it wasn't down there. Right. I couldn't see it from the camera angle, but huge round obviously for CLG, and that has to put a bit of a dent in NiP's confidence here. In the middle, JDM sneaking in, dropping Forest and smoking it back up again so they can't chase him through either. Wow, I mean, we already have Cloud9 as a super strong right now North American team. Hayes taking out Exist, but CLG, they've really been putting a lot of homework in for this tournament. You can tell already.
Yeah, they're looking great, and just another 5-on-3 situation for them. They haven't even taken any damage, so JDM and Hayes getting these first 2 kills. And NiP has been stopped here in middle behind his smoke. They have no map control whatsoever. All 3 members are here, and they don't even have control of it. They're going to have to work their way up catwalk. And this is something, look at Hayes, taking the aggressive, being very confident now. He's going to flank around. He knows they don't have the manpower to watch every flank. All he's got to worry about is get right lurking, and that's a free kill for Hayes there. So now very, very dangerous. Alu trying to find 1. Freiburg's going to trade off Hayes on the flank. But still so much work to do. 45 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, a bit of a shame that Hayes goes down, but oh my God, he's been playing well the second half. Tarek goes down. Alu as well, going to get the kill on Cutler now. It's Finesse finally, and there's JDM saving it. I could see you almost face-palming there.
I thought they were going to bring it back at a 2-on-5. I was waiting for it. Those kills just stream out, but CLG, they recover nicely in the end. And finally now, the first time that NiP has been forced into a save run. They've had so much money throughout this half. Now they're going to have the pistols. They do invest a lot into nades, a lot in armor. They have that basically a full money, almost a full money bonus going on. But try and do some damage, keep the money low, but CLG with an opportunity to take control of this match.
Leg shot there from Alu, and the follow-up grenade, onto Alu, follow-up grenade not going to take him out. His score is tied at 12-12 currently, and NiP trying to speed up onto long, but CLG, they see it coming. They're still going to lose a couple of players, and that's a big problem now. Cutler going to get a kill, but he goes down, and this is a huge round for NiP. CLG not ready for the speed of NiP, and now Finesse and Tarek gonna have to try and retake grenade once, and a follow-up not gonna do any damage at all, and they are kind of boxed in. Freiburg taking a lot of fire damage here, but he's got a Tech 9 ready, and they're gonna go down immediately. Tarek picking up the kill. Exist playing from pit, and now he's alone. Maybe CLG will have done it once again. He has so much potential in this round, but Tarek doesn't even stop to shoot, takes down Exist. And NiP, that seemed like a very winnable round for them.
It absolutely was. Tarek and FNS bailing CLG out of a really tight spot. Losing that round on the save like that would have been heartbreaking again. But either way, they pull it back. I think I got to expect NiP in this round has got to go towards that A bomb site. They've had a lot of success hitting into that A site, whether it was early on in the pistol round and even the 4th round. They got a couple free entries into the site, basically. That round on an eco, they have some success there as well. So I would look for them to manipulate A one more time.
Well, we're going to see a 1-round lead here for CLG. 13-12. NiP economically worse off right now than CLG. It's not like CLG have a lot of money. They have a couple of players that are reasonably well off, but the rest not doing too much. So there's a good chance NiP could come back with a couple of rounds here and actually almost win the map just because of CLG's economy.
Well, that last round was the one where CLG had a great chance to build up some bank, keep some members alive. You know, you obliterate that attack, but NiP not only gets a plan off it, but they get those 3 kills. So it forces a lot of rebuys out of CLG. If they were able to stabilize this late in the game and buy out for the rest of these rounds, no matter what happened, that would have been great. But NiP with the damage.
Bomb still all the way over in upper dark, but this position from JDM that we're just spotting by the car is one that he hasn't had a great chance to use so far, but if they go for a short push, I actually expect a player like JDM to shut down at least one, but maybe sometimes even 2 or 3, and that's enough to stop a push, and we'll see if JDM is going to have a chance. The bomb is in upper, though, and that's a big giveaway, Oko. CGL don't know it yet. CLG.
Right, oh, and look at this presence. JDM doesn't spot him falling into CT spawn, but Freiburg can't land the spray from that range, and there's FNS from the Raptors, grabs one more. Exist does trade him off, now entering into B. Tarek's not looking, Alu takes him out. So they're into the B bomb site now with the plant coming down.
Wow, that's a big round. It looked like it could have worked out. Alu going to get the bomb down. It's a 3v3. And NiP, they make it work. I mean, pushing through the smoke with an AWP, that is generally not a good idea, but Alu made it work anyway, and a huge impact kill there to make sure that they couldn't hold the bomb site. Now Molotov going to go up in the window. Alu behind the box, and they're trying to make their way through. Another kill comes through from the Finnish sniper, and it's down to JDM. Last man standing, he drops by Get Right, a double kill, and it's going to be back to 13-13. NiP, they make it into the round, and now it is getting very scary for CLG. Look at that money. 2 people with lots, the rest just not enough.
Yeah, it would not surprise me. They're going to force buy here, so they do drop Ephamus. But that entry into the B bomb save by NiP, that's another 3-on-5 they just won. With these man deficits, they're being able to take into the sites and just win the retake situation. So CLG not able to win it out there, and now they're on a force buy on the 13-13 round. Oh, good patience by Alu. Doesn't even go for the jumping person. He cleans him up later, but he drops JDM.
Gets caught by that FAMAS, but in return, it's going to be Exista spray down Cutler. Great double kill here. It's the God Alu version we've got going on right now. He's got 20 kills currently. Tarek just spotting them out on long, and they're going to go for a boost up into the bomb site. Tarek here, FAMAS in hand, and not going to be able to win that fight against Forest. Now it's Finesse left in a 1v4 and sprayed down through the smoke. Freiburg with a headshot, and that's going to bring NiP very close to winning this game at 14-13, and the force up means CLG
forced to give up match point.
They have to, right? Do you think if they were on the terrorist side, they might try and sneak it in with Tech 9s and armor?
Probably. Why wouldn't you? But either way, now their backs are against the wall pretty much. No investment whatsoever. Not even, they have one nade. So you don't like seeing teams not buying anything out of the eco rounds, but CLG knows it's all going to come down to whatever they can buy in the next round will be their best chance to stay alive.
Yeah, but actually, I think buying one E grenade doesn't make any sense. I would always pick a flashbang over that, or even a smoke if I had to. But if you had to buy an HE grenade, then at least not one. Then go for like 2 or 3 or something.
Nade stack that long tunnel. And this is exactly what they did in their anti-ecos in the early portions of this half. NiP was let Forrest lead the way into that B bomb site, see what his aim can yield you, and he's going to creep his way in patiently.
Not going to get the shot mid-air, but Alu spots 1, maybe even 2 up there. Forrest taking a bit of damage here, but he's got his whole crew with him, and they're going to be knocking down that B bomb site. Cutler, the last man left, and nobody dying on that NiP side, so things are looking very good indeed. And you're right, match and map point here for the Swedish Ninjas at 15-13. There's really no chance here for Cutler. Maybe a kill, that'd be great, but not going to happen. So now we're looking for overtime here for CLG. What do you think? What are the chances?
Not likely, I don't think. The thing is, even when they've gotten advantage in some of these rounds, NiP is able to, equalize. Like, it just happens so quick. And CLG, they take too much economic damage. That forced some awkward buy situations where they had to force buy a few rounds ago. Either way, 1 kit on the board for CLG, and very light on utility. This is a huge disadvantage for them.
Oh, absolutely. If it comes to a retake, they really won't have a lot. They'll have used all their grenades by that point in time. No one got tagged in the middle, though, so a pretty good start. And NiP running a bit of a default setup here in the beginning, but now they're putting on a lot of speed. Forrest already out in the middle, but Finesse going to win that initial fight. Forrest gets a kill. Can he get the second one here? Spraying down. No, Tarek going to drop him. And that's a very important kill here. CLG trying to stay alive. Tarek goes down to Get Right. They lose the bomb site, but here's the big thing. Exist is still lurking over on Catwalk, so when they try for this retake, he might be there. He takes down JDM, and it's now a 2v3. NiP, 2 kills away from closing out this first map, and we'll see if they're going to be able to. Sneaking up through the middle, Exist is here. He sprays long range, takes down Cutler, and now he's going to drop to Get Right, who gets a double kill, and that is game. 29 kills for Forrest at the end, 16-13 in favor of NiP, and they defeat CLG on Dust2 in the first game here in Cologne.
I know it's closer to the scoreline than NiP would have liked, but talking with Natu, he's always said that part of the issue he thinks that NiP has had recently is this tough first battle they've had with a lack of confidence, and just
Yes.
winning this first match. You know, no matter how close it is, Forest with 29 kills is great to see early on in this tournament. Now, if they can build on that and stay dangerous, that's the key. So they survive. CLG, we mentioned it a couple times. There are a few rounds that they really let slip out of their fingers that could have turned this completely different.
They had that one devastating 5v3. They lost the third round on the first half of the game, where they should have had a quick 3-0. It turned into a 2-1 instead.
Right.
Probably would have been overtime if they could have gone back and changed that. But that's how it is. Not looking too excited, though. I will say I'm pleased to see that Tarek and Cutler were playing so well. Glad that Hazed made it back. That's actually something that's very difficult to do. If you have a first half like Hazed had, to come back and actually start playing well again is very difficult.
Well, the key is you know, even if you know you have a bad half and you're feeling bad about it, you have to stay focused enough where you can maybe not have a monster half, but find your way to impact a couple rounds here and there, have a positive impact. And he did that. He bailed them out of a round early on in that second half to get their winning streak started. But JDM also with the AWP played very, very well.
Absolutely, and also I think the kill differential on NiP was not that great. I mean, Forest at 29, sure, but I think the lowest fragger was actually Get Right at 17. So I mean, 17 to 29, it's not that big. It means pretty much everyone on NiP was doing something good, and that's also very important, especially maybe early in a tournament like this. I think it's a good sign right now for NiP, even though they probably would have preferred a landslide.
Right, absolutely, yeah, definitely would have. But yeah, it's great for them, so they can go into that next match knowing, having a little bit of extra confidence into them. But CLG, the tough part is they are that team that we said. They can put up the numbers, but they can't seem to get over that hump to take the complete victory away. They've teased us with a couple best-of-1 upsets in the past, but they're too few and far between. So a couple you know, corrections in some of their late-round situationals, especially when they have man advantages. They seem to throw away a couple kills and allow their opponents back into it. You fix that, and I think you start winning more matches.
Yeah, I mean, just to sort of tally up here, the recent results of CLG on LAN against big European teams, it was almost beating Envy on Inferno, it was almost beating TSM as well as at IEM, very similar scoreline, I think also 16-13, now almost NiP. So we've got a bunch of almost matches here for CLG, but I'm wondering if they are ready over at the panel. Indeed they are, so Chobra, take it away.
Pasha.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, and we are ready with one of the winners of the very first game here at the ESL One Cologne Major. It is going to be Exist from NiP. Of course, congratulations are in order, but there's still a long way to go. How have you guys enjoyed that very first match between NiP and CLG?
Like I said, that's the result I was predicting. No one else really joined me on that one, but I know how strong CLG can be, especially the individual performances. JDM was very impactful there. His ult picks seemed to be very influential there and got them into a lot of key rounds there. So one thing to note as well for me was the CLG retakes onto the bomb sides. They were phenomenal. Like with rounds it looked like NiP had tied up, they somehow got together. The synergy from the CT side was great for them. Retaking it seemed like an important factor to getting so many rounds on the board.
For Flair, watching that game, I mean, do we have any questions for Exist? Because in the middle, I mean, as Casper was saying, it looked like, I mean, CLG, if they just brushed up a couple things, looked like they could have taken that.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to keep in mind as well that NiP also did a bunch of mistakes, not only CLG, so you can't just base a game off of the mistakes that CLG did, when you also have to account for NiP's mistakes that they had as well. They also had a few rounds when they lost one of the retakes that they shouldn't have. So yeah, it was a close game, but, you know, what we've always said is a win. Doesn't matter the score.
That's correct.
Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about that game looking back, Exist, with a couple of the points that the guys have mentioned?
Well, it's like Fifler said, we felt like we should have won the game easier, but we made a couple of mistakes when we had like 12-8 or something, like 3 rounds in a row. We got entry after entry, but somehow they managed to win a round by sloppy mistakes by us. Of course, they played really good. JDM as well, like you said. He hit his shots with the up, and he made it hard for us.
Similar, what about you? Any other opinions here on that first game between NiP and CLG?
I think Exist pretty much hit the 3 rounds on the head, where they were able to set up pretty much where you're thinking, okay, 100% they're going to hold this. And then what actually happened? Was it miscommunication? Was it jitters? What actually happened to miss those shots? Because at least 2 of those rounds where you're set up on A, it really seemed like there's no way they can lose this situation.
I think it was the positioning and the plants. Where we planted was the biggest mistake from us, like how the positions we took after the after plant. And one of the rounds, I think I had a Tech 9 in pit, and it's not the best position.
Yeah,
I was trying to wrap around short, but then I got the call that we planted towards long only. Yeah, so I had to stay there with the Tech 9.
And did you grin really hard when it was 13-13 and they tried to retake on B?
No, not really. On that situation, we had really good positions, and I kind of knew that we should win this 80%, 90%. So no, not really.
Right on. Well, I mean, as you guys were mentioning earlier, a win is a win, and eventually you're going to be moving on to the winners match here. Overall, how are you looking at this group of Group A? Were you guys worried at all coming into the groups? Were you like, you know what, it should be fine if we just play our A game?
No, of course, coming into a major, you have to prepare for everyone. Everyone is so good nowadays. CLG is like a dark horse, I would say. We don't know that much about them because we don't play against them so much. And they recently beat TSM and Fnatic, I believe, in Gamescom. And TSM has always been a top team, top 4 team, so they're really good as well. And the 4th team, the Australians, they're also like a dark horse. We don't know so much about them, so yeah, we have to prepare for everyone, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, that's why a lot of the community, I think, has been rallying around this major, saying, you really don't know. I mean, it's going to be a really exciting one. Now, as you said, you thought maybe you should have won easier. But, Henry, overall, then, any other questions for Exist here after their first game? Now that we've seen, you know, after all the speculation.
Just
how
one of the rounds that really stood out for me. The third round going in, you guys were full eco. It was 2-0, you were down. And then you came back and did a full eco. You won the round as well, like P2000 USPs. Like, do you think that was a mistake from CLG going into that, or is it something you guys orchestrated to actually get into the round?
I think we got a entry on A, on Severe Long, I don't remember.
It's just a round you don't expect to win at all, right? Like, it's almost a throwaway round in some respects.
Yeah, not at all. We had a full eco, and I think Freiburg did a great job on B, or maybe they made a mistake not pushing him earlier and trying to kill him earlier. But yeah, mistakes happen, and that's a major.
It seemed like they didn't want to. They were too scared to face you almost. They were playing so passively and allowing you guys to even get the position on them. And then the crossfires ensued. It was like pandemonium going down. But that's one of the interesting rounds I think CLG were looking back on. When you win the first 2 rounds quite convincingly, and then you lose the full eco against them is always disappointing. So that's what I wanted to touch on.
Not a result you generally expect after the first 2. But Flaren, what about you? Any new thoughts now that we've heard a lot coming into this major about every team, right? About how they're doing in scrims or whatnot. But now that we've seen one game from each team, maybe anything for NiP, or even just maybe questions to Exist about CLG now having played against them?
No, not really. I mean, one thing to note about CLG is that they still seem to have issues closing out games.
Yeah.
As we saw in Gamescom, we saw that the first game now here as well. Yeah, they can play, but at the end of the day, even if you end up losing 16-14 or 16-1, for them it's still a loss on the paper. So, but overall, I mean, it looked solid for NiP. Sure, it was probably a little bit closer than what they would have been expecting, but yeah, they're going to be matched up against TSM or Renegades in a few hours.
I think I've got an idea for a side business for Device, actually. Make a little money on the side at the event. You know, maybe get some counseling. You know, how do you get over choking? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Device is going to sit them down. Right? He's going to be in a circle. He's like, listen, boys, you know, this is what you got to do. But there is a little bit of that there, right? You get that feel where it's like, we've seen this before. Oh, yeah. But look at what TSM did once they got over it, once they got over that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's something real, right? Whether it's an outside factor or whatnot, it's going to play some of these teams. Well, Exist, once again, congratulations, but it's still going to be a long way if you guys want to get to where you want to be here at the major. Overall, though, now that one game's down, you guys feeling confident? As you said, I mean, a win is a win. You've got that W on your scoreboard.
Yeah, for sure. The first game is always hard to get a win. Once you get over that bump, I think you just keep on rolling, you know? So it feels good.
Real quick, who would you rather face between the remaining 2 in your group, TSM or Renegades?
TSM for sure.
For sure. Just because you don't have that element of surprise that's possible with Renegades where, like you said, you weren't too familiar with their playstyle?
I think we just want to prove to everyone that we're a top team, that we can beat TSM, you know. I think that's what drives us right here.
Damn straight.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, it was nice having you on the desk after your first one. Exist. Thank you very much for joining us. Also, for all of you guys at home, don't forget to check out theScore eSports. For all your information, you can download the app at the iOS App Store or the Google Play Store, and they've got a nice little piece rounding up the whole thing on everything you need to know at ESL One Cologne. So go ahead and check that. For now, though, we'll take a quick look, of course, at one of our favorites, Joe Miller in CSGO.